What's going on, guys? This is Bumstar, and today we are playing all the mods 10 with the sky. In our last episode, we did industrial foregoing and just got all the basics set up. In between episodes, I got nether stars going and just have them being processed down there for now, because I wanted to jump into something new today. So with the star recipe in this pack, it requires a ton of different singularities. And from the looks of it, they seem to require a ton of power and a ton of time. And well, we have a ton of power below us here, but I'd rather get them set up now just in case they do take a ton of time. So we're going to set them up here and start playing around. So this is something pretty new to me, so it's going to be a lot of figuring it out together. With that, let's go right to it. So when you look at the singularities here, they are being used in a quantum compressor with an ultimate catalyst, and then for example for this Iron Singularity, it is an iron ingot with a ton of items and a ton of power. So what we're going to do is we're going to test it out with just one of them. I've already set up the pattern for the quantum compressor. It is just a bunch of random things put together, very easy to craft, just a lot of steps, so I'd strongly suggest just setting up the pattern for this. Well, now that we have our quantum compressor, we'll just go ahead and place that down right here for now. Let's put a ender gate on it. It's now powered. Now let's go ahead and put a ultimate catalyst in. Grab a iron ingot. And after putting that ingot in there, it takes 1 out of 25,000. So we need 25,000 iron ingots to make a singularity. It even shows the item there. So this was gonna be pretty easy to set up. We're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different singularities, plus the ultimate singularity, which is a ton more. And we'll set this one up later. We're gonna set up the 8 other ones for now. Okay, so now I have this set up with its own wireless connector, and we're going to use some export buses, because for now we're just going to make one of each for the first initial star. But as we ramp this up, we may set this up to be completely automated. I just don't want to go through all of our resources that we have saved at the moment. So we're going to put a import bus on top of all of this. And then from here, we're going to put acceleration cards and crafting cards. Now that these are all set up, we just need to go into each one of these and put the ultimate catalyst in it. And now we can need to give them each power. We'll use our gates. Those right on the front. Keep in mind this is going to use a ton of power. And that's another reason we are only going to set up for one. You could very easily set this up to be a continuous loop by just putting an export or an import bus on the back end here and connecting it to the wires. So that way it's going to pump all of the items into it that's needed and then take out the singularity and keep rotating it. It's just a matter of having the resources that you need to do that, because for each one it is 25,000 of each resource. So now that we have everything else set up, we're going to make sure they're all stayed on the limited input. So I'm assuming that just means it's going to only fill it up until it creates the singularity. So now we're going to need iron, gold, lapis, glowstone, emerald, diamond, redstone, and copper. And now we just want to put that in each one of these. Now it is dumping 64 in at a time until it completely fills up. And as you can see, there is the singularity icon on the top. So if you do want that to show, you could always put the import on the side or the back. Honestly, I think I'm going to do that. And there we go. That looks much better. So now we can see the singularity on top. So we know what each one is. And we still have room on the back here for our exports if we wanted them. Now we'll go ahead and set that up, because why not? Now that we have our import buses instead of our export, now we can set this all up. So as the singularities finish, they should go directly into our system. Well, let's take a look. And it is rocking and rolling. We have an iron singularity already, and it is pumping through So let's take a look to see what we have for singularities. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have one of each. All right, so I've turned these all off because I don't want to power through all of our resources. As it stands, we do have like 500,000, almost 600,000 of most of these resources. But if we leave this running, that stuff will be gone within an hour. It is, hard pumping them through. We have one of each of our singularities that we need for this already. So now what we're going to do is look at our ultimate singularity. And for our ultimate singularity, I believe we are going to need one of each of the ones that we've already made. And now we have 2 of each singularity. Those work a lot quicker than I thought they were going to. Now that we have those 8, 2, now we need to make all of these other singularities. So we're going to need nickel, lead, platinum, tin, silver, aluminum, coal, steel, invar, electrium, and bronze. And now we have those running. So now we're going to wait for all of those to finish up and then finish up the last few that we have on top of that. So now we just need the invar, the electrum, and the bronze going, and the steel and coal are in the process of being made. And these processes take a little longer because they need to be crafted individually because of the way that they are each made. So it's making like a stack at a time and sending them through and then having to run it again and again. So what would probably make these faster would be using an interface, which I think is what I'm going to set up. I'm going to leave the coal because the coal's almost done. But for the other ones, we're going to switch over to interfaces. And another thing that you could do is just, well, craft out the 25,000. So let's see, for steel, we need 25,000 steel. So if we just tell it to craft, it's going to take some time, but now we don't have to worry about the steel constantly trying to be making small crafts, so we can just set up each of these. Now they're all being pushed through, and this is just going to take some time to do it. While we're waiting for that, we want to set up our crafting table for our extended, so that way we can craft the ultimate singularity. So we're going to need this at a tier 4, and we're just going to go ahead and set up the patterns to do so. Okay, so while setting up these patterns, I've seen that we are going to need to actually make the ultimate crafting table before we can make the auto crafting table. So let's just go ahead and place this machine down to see what's required of it. So you can use this to make the Patrick star. You're going to need the crystalline ingots, which is exactly what we're going to be using this one for. Make the actual star. Make the Patrick star with ATM star shards. And the ultimate singularity. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. So we're going to need lapis, diamonds, gold, iron, nether stars. And let's grab those out. Pull those down. Okay, so this does not need power. Good to know. So let's go ahead and make some more. And let's pop all these in here and just spread it out. So it is just a massive crafting table. Take out all those that we can. Clear the grid. Pop those all in here. Break this. And now let's make our auto crafting. Now that we have the ultimate auto crafting one, we should be able to just put a pattern provider on this. So let's try it out. And now we need to slap a gate down on here. I don't want to put it on that side. Let's put it right here. So now this has power as a pattern provider. Now we should be able to make a pattern for this. So if we put that in here, probably set this to blocking mode. And let's go ahead and make 10 of these. All right, 12 scheduled. They're probably all sitting in here. Okay, let's cancel this. Add that all in here and let's save that recipe. Okay, so now that that's saved, now let's try. So do 10. put our pattern back in here and we ask for 4. Okay, that's still saved. So if we ask for 4 of a crystal, it should send those 4 into here. Not sure why that's not sending them into the barrel. The future bump star here, and I figured out how to automate this. I don't know why this is working now when I did something similar and it wasn't working before, but you have the auto crafter down and you have to put in inventory directly above it. Then from there I have an import on the bottom, and I have a pattern provider up here with the pattern set up like before. Now what that does is it takes that pattern, puts all of the items into this oak barrel, and then it will fill this up, make the pattern, and import it through here. So now we can go and request for crystalline. We'll start putting it in here. All gets sucked into here, craft the item, and then import it out here. So we'll just put some accelerations in here and it'll be super quick. But that gets the auto crafting done. Alright, and now that we have every singularity crafted, we can make our first ultimate singularity. So we just pop them all in here, and there we go. Now have our ultimate singularity. So as you can see, I've cleared out this area and I've moved some cables around because I am going to set this up to be auto crafted with some resource production. And with that resource production, we will be starting that next episode. And it's of the stinging variety. I know not a lot of people enjoy productive bees, but I think it's time we start diving into it because getting it started in this mod pack's a little difficult. There's not anywhere for us to get bees, so we have to figure that out. And that'll allow us to use some of these weird ingots that took forever to craft. I mean, I had this running in the background for about 2 hours to get those crafted and got it all done. We'll be able to have a bee for that specific resource, and we're gonna set it up right next to it and just auto craft it into it. And as we get more resources that we need, we'll be able to have that be pumping out. And I think realistically we only need a certain amount of stars before we can then make the starry bee. So we're just gonna make as many as we're gonna need for that, which I think is going to be 18, maybe a little more. We'll see. I'll have to do the math, but I would like to keep moving with star pieces, and this is the first major step. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope I helped you out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps the algorithm and it helps push my videos out to more people. So I would really appreciate the help. Later.